10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 445. Everybody, welcome back to episode 445 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. Let's get into our fourth episode on density. So our goal in this episode is to take everything that we've worked on so far and combine it with a more free way of playing. So we always talk about application. Application is pretty important, especially for this kind of stuff. And what we want to do this week is we want to sort of gauge what this work is doing for us, or I guess it's less gauge, but it is more switch back and forth from a really prescribed thing that we're doing into a more free style of playing and start to bring these exercises that we're doing that are really, really specific, try to bring them a little bit closer to what we actually want to do, which is improvise and improve our ability to play things on the spot in a way that we're happy with, to keep growing our skills of improvisation and realize that these very, very sort of fenced in exercises where you're doing really, really specific things with a really specific set of instructions, and you're trying not to go off of that initial instruction. How can we actually combine that with a more free level of playing? And that's what we're going to be seeking to do. So in the previous episodes, we've gone over all these different densities of what we're going to play in a bar. So we've been basing that off of how many notes we're going to play in a bar, which is forcing you to make certain decisions, right? We know that we're not locked into a certain subdivision, for instance, but we just need to satisfy the requirement of, okay, I'm going to play one note per bar. That one note could be a whole note, or it could be a 16th note, or anything in between. Okay, now we're going to do two same sort of conditions for this experiment, 3 and 4. And that's what we've worked on so far. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take those iterations, 1, 2, 3, 4 notes per bar, and we're going to come up with a way to combine that and balance it with just improvisation. So playing whatever you want to, okay? So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go through each density and we're going to play one chorus, really being focused on that density and making sure that we get the proper number of notes per bar. Then we're going to balance that by playing one chorus totally free and open. Okay. So here are the detailed instructions on what I want you to do. So you're going to grab a backing track to Recordame. We'll keep using Recordame because we've been using it all month. So you're going to grab a backing track to Recordame. You're going to play one chorus where you're playing one note per bar. And then you're going to play one chorus where you're doing whatever you want. And you're going to keep going back and forth between those two things. One chorus of one note per bar, one chorus of whatever you want. And what's going to happen here is that chorus of one note per bar is going to inform when you free play. See, everything is sort of connected, right? If you find yourself being completely disconnected from the chorus that you played that was very prescribed, you may want to rethink that, right? You want this kind of smooth transition from, okay, I'm playing one note per bar in every bar into I'm playing whatever I want, but how do I make this transition sound natural? So you're not going to go from playing one note per bar to playing 16 notes per bar every bar. That's really that shouldn't be happening. We do want what we're doing in the prescribed chorus to inform what we're doing in our free blowing chorus, but we don't want to overthink that. So it's kind of a fine balance, right? When you're playing the chorus where you can do whatever you want, you don't want to hold yourself back from, for instance, playing what you hear, right? Actually, that's my biggest goal for you, is to play what you hear in that free chorus. But what you hear is most likely going to have some relationship to what you did in the really boxed in chorus. Okay. So that's what we want to do. And we just want to go through the different densities that we've been working on all month. So we'll start by playing, like, maybe putting on a backing track and letting it go for the entire backing track, playing one note per bar and then free, one note per bar, free. Then when you feel pretty good about that, then you want to go, okay, 2 notes per bar for a chorus, 1 chorus free. 2 notes, 1 chorus free, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then 3, then 4. So you get the idea, right? It's like we're going to go back through all these iterations, but the new thing is that we're putting 1 chorus of free play in between all of them. Now, once you can do that, again, the fun doesn't stop, right? That's the thing about practicing this stuff, is like, if we really, really do take it as far as it can go, we could work on this for years, okay? So then what we could do is we could put on a backing track. Let's say the backing track is 8 choruses. We could go right through all those different density layouts, 1 chorus a piece. So that would look like 1 chorus, 1 note per bar, a free chorus. The next chorus is 2 notes per bar, a free chorus, 3 notes per bar, a free chorus, 4 notes per bar, a free chorus. That will be completely different, right? Because now you have to, like, think about more things. Your free chorus will be determined by your prescribed chorus. And it'll be interesting to go back and maybe listen to a recording of yourself and how your free choruses were influenced by what you played before it. And that would be a really, really cool thing to think about, right? To unpack and think about. So now you're doing a bunch of different things here, right? You're reviewing, you're playing, which is one of the best things to do, is to go back and listen to recordings of yourself, no matter how painful that is for you. I know it's a little bit painful for me. It's essential, okay? What you're also doing is taking all of the lessons from the previous 3 episodes and you're just compounding them. You're working on them further, but you are changing the game a little bit. You're doing the same activities, but in a different way, in a different layout, right? And you're also practicing your improvisation. Not to mention, through this process, you're getting hundreds of choruses of recordame under your belt. Just going through those and navigating them. Remember, you still have to figure out what notes to play. And as you do this stuff, even if you are not consciously aware of it, you are working out what notes you want to play and what you want the melodies to sound like, and the voice leading and the layout of the harmony, and you're hearing the progression go by. So it's one of those things where it's like you can't lose when you're doing this stuff. And if you do actually commit yourself to doing it, and you spend the time and you play those hundreds of choruses, you're just going to improve. Okay. So that's the other part of this. Just have a little faith that all of this stuff does add up, even if you don't feel like you're much better at the end of the day. You add these things up over weeks, and all of a sudden you're like, I am sounding better and I don't know why. Well, I could tell you why. It's all this work that you've done, right? It's all these choruses that you've played. It's all of these activities that you're doing. They do benefit you, but it's not like a practice session to practice session kind of benefit. It's like a add up over time kind of benefit. All right. So there's your instructions. For the Patreon members, I'm going to give you a track. Maybe I'll do 1 note per bar. I'll play 2 choruses, then you do the same, and then maybe I'll do 2 notes per bar. And for the $5 members, I'll give you a track where we're progressively adding more in the same backing track. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, we are a listener-supported podcast, and the way that we support ourselves is not through advertisements or anything like that. Instead, we just rely on listeners just like you that see some benefit from this show and want to keep it going. You can find out more information on what it costs and how you can support us by going to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com. And I want you to click on one of those Patreon banners. Alternatively, you can go to patreon.com and you can search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. It's pretty simple. You choose one of 2 tiers. You get a whole bunch of awesome jazz education materials in return for your support so that you can put these ideas into action in the practice room right away with no obstacles. You just grab those resources and you start practicing. Okay. So if that's something that you might want to do, go over to 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners or patreon.com and search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. You get signed up, you get instant access actually to the entire catalog. So all 445 episodes worth of material. Quick shout out to some new patrons this week. Thank you to Larry, Friedman, Shibu, and Stefan. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Welcome to the family. And of course, to the over 350 people we have over there supporting us. Thank you. We really wouldn't be able to do this show without you. And it is truly all of your individual support added up together that keep this thing coming out each and every week. All right, have fun with that stuff. We're going to continue this series, but look at it from a whole different angle next month. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week with another brand new episode. Talk to you soon, everybody. Bye.